Because online there are so many tools. The number one question I get every day when I do my job, which is consulting wineries and bloggers and other people, is how do I keep up with all this stuff? Meaning, how do they? And I tell them, you don't. That's my job. There's so much tech and so many startups and so many tools and so many opportunities to attempt to organize your life that if you try to keep up with them all, you become very disorganized. Hence, my life tends to be disorganized at times. You don't need to know all of these things. I'm going to give you probably 100 tools. Please, don't think that you need to use every one. You need to find the 2 or 3 tools that help you solve the problems that you have. A lot of people use tech because they think they need tech to fix something, but they haven't identified a problem. So if you don't have a problem, you don't need a tool. Very, very, very important thing to remember, and a lot of people tend to forget that. We're much more mobile today. We don't need boxes in our offices for the most part. Definitely don't need fax machines. And we don't need to rely on local solutions. I will touch on a lot of opportunities for people to try to do things different in their business infrastructure. So, focusing. Security and backup, websites, blogs, branding, email communication, social management, mobile, and a little bit more organization stuff. That's really what I'm going to focus on today. We have solutions for wine, but really, Vintank, Wine Searcher, Avon, Purple Pages, Adega, and the forums. Do we know what Adega and the Avon? That's where our wine list is. Andre, he's our friend, he's around here someplace pouring port for people. The tool's great, and I've worked with Andre and I have nothing against Adega, but it's a very small community for the most part. The Avon project, do we know what that is? The Avon is an attempt to give every wine in the world a unique number. It's still happening. Again, I'm going to go fast through this, but definitely check out avon.cc if you want to learn more about that. It's also where our wine list is located. It's a great idea. It needs a lot of support. This isn't about that, so I'm going to move on. Able Grape. Best search engine for wine. Who doesn't know Able Grape? All right, you just missed out on the biggest tool you have for searching anything related to wine. Our friend Doug Cook developed it. He used to work for Twitter, he used to work for Yahoo. He is a search engine guru. He built a search engine that only works for wine. If you go to Able Grape and you type in motorbike, if it doesn't relate to wine, you won't find it. It doesn't matter what you put into there, you will find it. If you put in Chardonnay, it will give you every synonym, every other name Chardonnay is called by around the world. It is searchable by country, how the country's information is organized. Woo, I'm off the bar. All right. So, if you don't know ablegrape.com, again, we're not going to do a lot with wine. Seller Tracker, biggest selection of user-generated tasting notes in the world. Who doesn't know Seller Tracker? 1, 2, okay. 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, you guys failed. Seller Tracker, something like 2 bazillion tasting notes by users. You can go there. If you're a winery and you haven't searched for your wines in Seller Tracker, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. All I'm going to say is pay attention to it. The truth is, I'm bored to death with wine online. There's so much crap, and so many people trying to tell me how to find a better wine. Well, that's what Google's for, and that's what my friends are for. And if I see another app that says, we'll help you discover what wine goes with fish, I'll probably shoot myself in the head. The truth is, the wine industry is retarded when it comes to tech. They don't use tech. They don't understand that it can be used to change other people's perceptions, but it doesn't come down to talking about wine all the time. Wine is a substance that lubricates conversations, that creates friendships, that builds networking. If you really want to sell more wine, I want to see the first winery or wine region, Susan, I'm looking at you, to sponsor a major tech conference. There should be people. You have these huge tech conferences happening with all these people getting together. Why don't we have wine at those? Why don't we have wine sponsors at food conferences? You sometimes do, but not to the degree that I think should be there. I'm really bored with wine looking at itself, navel-gazing as we say, and not looking outside at other opportunities. That's not what this conference is about. That's just my rant. So we're going to move on. Ignorance is not endearing. I did this twice with speakers. I'm not going to say which speakers. Who said, "Oh, I don't know how to upload a photo. It's, I don't know tech." And I'm going, seriously? That's not cute anymore. It used to be cute. But the rest of the world uses email. We use it every day. It's very useful for talking. I don't need a phone call when all I have to ask is a simple question. If you're one of those people or you know somebody like it, get them into a 12-step program or something to understand that tech is safe, it's friendly, it can help them. When you start moving into the tech world, you're going to move in, you're going to decide, I'm going to do a little bit more. This isn't for all of you, maybe 3, 4, or 5 of you. The internet works basically on an idea of HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. That's how web pages are built. Very basic level. CSS is cascading style sheets. Don't worry what that means, but it basically says, this is what my website will look like. There's some very simple tools in CSS and HTML that a normal person should know. What a link looks like when you have it as code. We all know what a link is in a web page, right? A blue piece of text that you can click and you go someplace else. That's a link. If you don't know how to write that in text, learn to do it. It'll save you a lot of headache. It won't confuse you. These are 2 sites that you can spend 10 minutes one time and probably learn that and a couple other things that would help you. That said, don't be afraid to hire an expert, and don't be afraid of paying too much. I will talk at the end about pricing for websites and things and some ideas about what you should be paying. But paying for premium is worth it. A lot of people think, I'm going to get away with the cheapest solution possible. In the end, you end up paying more because you have to hire the support then to fix the problem because you went with the cheapest solution. As we said yesterday in the workshop with WordPress, if you get a hosting company for your website that's $55 a year, you probably are going to have your website crash a few times. And you might lose your backups and your data. Paying for a little bit more will save you a ton of money. And I know I've struggled with money. When we first moved to Spain, we didn't have much money, so we tried to put as little as we could into everything we did. And we learned the hard way, that you just put a little bit more and you save a lot of money. You don't have the mistakes. So, security and backup. How many people have their own website, personal? Only like 5 or 6? And you have a country website, Susan. You have a winery website, correct? How many of you are in charge of your website? Fully, 100% in charge. Okay. How many people know their backup solution for the website? Seriously, that's really depressing. I think we have 2 half hands. Nobody's willing to do it. Right now, I can take down your website really easily. I hate to say this, I am not a geek. I am a geek compared to you, but when you get into the geek world, I'm a neophyte, I'm an idiot. And I can bring your website down, probably destroy it all, get it off the web in a couple hours if I really wanted to do it. If you don't have a backup solution, you're in a lot of trouble. You need a backup solution. Here are some very, very cheap ways, not to mention just your computers. All of you have a computer here. How many of your computers have a backup solution happening as we speak? You do? It's backing up? See, now you're traveling. Everything you wrote on that computer, you lose it at the airport, and boom, it's gone. Simple solutions. We got Backblaze, multi-platform. It works for Word, Windows, Windows and Mac. I think they might even have a Linux solution, but I'm guessing none of you are on Linux. Carbonite, also. Look at that, $50 a year. Unlimited backup for Backblaze. It sits on your computer, it runs in the background, it's constantly backing stuff up. If anything happens, anything at all, one click, it restores your computer. So if I lose my computer today, this computer just gets, something falls out of the sky and it destroys it. I go buy a new computer, go to my Backblaze account, click a couple buttons, and my computer's back. That's pretty friggin' awesome. And that is safe. That's $50, and you are not going to be in trouble. Carbonite, a little bit more. I like Backblaze because it allows you to plug in like a hard drive and back up the hard drive and your computer. Carbonite is only your computer. They have corporate solutions, so for somebody, and I'm just going to pick on you, Susan, the whole time because I know you're white in Austria. A corporation like you could back up your entire company's computers for something around maybe $700 a month. You have everybody's computers.
Actually, we have people who do it. I just don't know how.
Okay, but make sure they have it live on your machines. Because if you should have a 3-point backup solution. You should have a local backup solution. You should have a hyper-local one, which would be on a hard drive that you're backing up in your house. And then you have to have an offsite one. If you don't have those 3, you are doing something wrong, and you are running the risk of losing everything you've worked for. 2 great solutions that are around now, Dropbox and Google Drive. I love them both. Both of them work super cheap. Dropbox is dead simple. Google Drive is becoming dead simple. For $9.99 a month, it's 100 gigabytes. This tool, if you don't, who uses Dropbox? All right, and you cannot live without it, I bet, at this point. You've become addicted to it. In a business, I can't live without it. I have a folder. Anything I put into that folder, Gabriella and Robert both have. If I'm doing business with you, I share a folder with you, and we both have the same content at all times. Without Dropbox, my life is a nightmare. It's also a great backup solution. If you just want to use that, you're fine. If you don't have a lot of files, it might be a good solution to use for backing up your entire machine. Because the minute you log into a new machine, you can download all the files that are in that folder, and it does it automatically and very easily. Passwords. How many people have a password that you can pronounce? Be honest, come on, raise your hands, come on, shame. Can you say your password? Is it a pet name? Anybody have a pet? You have a pet. Your pet name is your password. And some numbers. Okay, good. We're not doing too good right now. A password. I'm going to give you a little secret. A password is not strong because you cannot pronounce it or you don't know exactly what it says. It's strong because it's long. There's a rule of entropy. I'm not a geek, I'm not a scientist, probably one of you is and can tell me, a mathematician can tell me better how this works. But basically, if you're at 7 characters, you have a very weak password. Because a password break-in usually happens through brute force. Somebody sends a machine to your computer or your website, and it just tries every combination. And at 7 letters, it can find that combination pretty damn fast, because it just tries every possible combination. You get up to 10, and it jumps up to something, I think it's 10 or 12, it jumps up to about 150 years before they'll finally be able to break in. So, don't worry about having a complicated one. Yes, you should probably throw in a number or a weird character. Make sure it's at least 10 characters long. But more importantly, and the thing that we use is LastPass. KeyPass is another solution, but LastPass I like, so I'll talk about that. LastPass sits on my computer. Every website I go to when I register, it generates a password I can't pronounce, I can't remember, nothing. And when I go back to that site, it automatically puts it in. And I have a master password for my LastPass account. So what I have set up is an account with LastPass with a password that is 10 words long. I mean, literally, I type for half a minute to get the PIN, but that makes it hyper safe. And then once I log in, now I can surf the web and all the sites that I go to. Every single one has a different password. How many of you use the same password for every site you go to? We got 1, we got 2. Oh, we got people that admit it. This is a huge problem. Because if I find out what that password is, all I do is I take that password and your username, and I crawl the web for every website online. Again, you can't think of this as humans trying to hack you. This has nothing to do with humans. This is a little piece of technology sitting there, going around. And it will go to every bank in the world and just see, does this work, does this work, does this work? Finally it'll hit one, and boom, you have no money left. Sorry about that. KeyPass is a great one too. It's free. It also works good. It's more of just what you feel comfortable with. That is a tracker for walking. So.
You said it was something to do with password.
Well, actually, yes. With LastPass, you can get that. So LastPass has like 10 different levels of encryption, and depending on what your company is at, you can get these things. I forget what they're called, but you're right. It's a little thumb drive, and you have to plug that in before you can put your password in. So it identifies you as you, and then you have to know the password on top of it. So it's an extra level. So if you're in a corporation and you have a secure machine or server or something, that would be a good solution. Christian does a lot of work on various things, so he needs an extra level. Personally, I just have a really long password. For LastPass, you can pay $1 a month, I believe, and it is on your phone. It syncs to all your phones, so my Android phone here, if I go to any website, I enter my password, and boom, I can bring up all those non-memorable passwords. Pray. Problem? Oh, I thought somebody was shaking their head. Pray project. We have, I think this works on iPhone too. Definitely works on Android. It also works on all of your laptops. Pray is this gorgeous little piece of software. You install it on your machine and you never find it again. Now, your machine gets stolen, and you log into the Pray site, you say, I lost my machine, where is it? It all of a sudden fires up your camera on your machine, it locks down the keyboard, it locks out. If you know it was stolen, it will take and erase everything if you ask it to. So now, if you have sensitive documents, you're safe. Especially with phones. I lost my phone and I was pretty pissed. And fortunately, nobody was able to break into my first level of security. But if they had, I would have been screwed. And so Pray will sit there. The minute you know your phone's missing, you go to a site, go to that, type in your secure password, and you say, this device is missing. What's happening? You could try to contact the person, send us a text message up on your screen saying, hey, if you just found this, can I get it back? Are you stealing it? If you don't get the response you're looking for, you can wipe the machine, you can destroy the machine basically. So it's a very, very good thing. It's great. Move on. Websites, blogs, branding. We already went through this. A bunch of you have websites. How many people are on Blogger? 1, 2, only 2? 3? Come on, admit it. Hi. Come on, up high. 1, 2, 3. All right. Don't. Get off. Leave. You have WordPress. Good. You're on Blogger. I'm sorry. One person, 2 people. Okay. Well, this one is the worst in the sense that once you decide you want to upgrade to a better site, Google, who owns Blogger, doesn't allow you to redirect your site anywhere else. So there's this phenomenon. There's many websites out there who have a last post on Blogger that say, I moved my blog. Because you can't redirect. You don't own your content the same way you do with other things. We have a lot of sites, so I'm going to say, forget that. WordPress.com, anybody in my workshop yesterday? A couple of you? WordPress.com, a hosted solution. In the past 6 months, it's become very robust. You don't need to be a geek anymore to use this. It is very, very friendly. The upgraded version is $99 a year, and you get your own domain name, you get premium features like better design options. It's really sexy. If you don't have any geek blood in you, WordPress.com is a perfect solution to have a professional site up and running in a half an hour or something. WordPress.org, going to go through it quick. This is the self-hosted solution. You need to have your own server. That server, you need to have a piece of software on it called WordPress. You put WordPress on there. Now you can do anything you want. You're just paying for the server. You're just paying for the hosting. The problem with that is you definitely need a little geek in you. You can pay somebody else to build your site, that's fine, and then you don't. And you can have somebody smart like me come along and help you develop the site so you can run it and not have to be a geek at all. But it is, I would say, hands down, the strongest CMS content management system online today that's open source and free. I can't think of anything else. How many people have a Preposterous blog? I do, so I can raise my hand. Preposterous? No? Oh good, I don't have to talk about it. Preposterous was bought by Twitter recently. I've been using it a lot. Last year, if you came to this session, I recommended it highly. When Twitter bought it, things started to go wrong. I don't know what's happening with it. I can't recommend it anymore. I'll move us to Tumblr. We have Tumblr blogs here. All right, good. Tumblr is a wonderful thing for businesses. For one-off events, if you do your Austrian wine marketing event and you want to have a fun thing to have photos show up on it, in fact, tonight we might try to do that. Tumblr allows you to quickly create a site, customize it, all for free. There's a premium option where you can pay a little bit, make it look a little nicer. I like it as a secondary thing to my primary objective. I have a website, Catavino, about Spanish Portuguese wine, and then I have my little fun projects on the side. One of them is just sharing things I find online. It's kind of like my public scrapbook. And so anything I want goes on my Tumblr blog. You can follow it at flotsam.jetsam.com. It's not that interesting, but you're more than welcome to join me. If you're looking to do something robust and you don't want any geek blood in you, and you want something that's going to be very secure, Squarespace. $8 a month and $16 a month now for Squarespace 6. Squarespace 5, which ended about 3 months ago, was okay. Squarespace 6 is amazing. I was very embarrassed. I went to Georgia to do a talk like this, and I had known Squarespace 5, and when I loaded Squarespace 6 to do a live demo, I was shocked because it was so easy. And they're like, what's wrong? I mean, I'd done the talk many times, and I got there and I was like, this is so different, and it's so much better. You can design your whole site without any technical knowledge. Basically, I want my site to have a wider sidebar. I just drag a little arrow back and forth. I can change up and down. I can insert slides. It's very powerful.
Would it make sense to migrate a blog or a website from WordPress to Squarespace?
Depends how comfortable you are at your current home. As I said, today I'm going to give you 1,000 tools. Find the 3 that work for you. There are possibilities. If you see your traffic going up, really high, and you're having problems keeping your site live, possibly. Squarespace, you won't go down, because they have a distributed server arrangement, and so you're never going to have your site go down. But, same time, transferring it, you're going to have to hire a professional to do the design, because it doesn't transfer one for one. Twit11, if you sign up, that's not my discount code, but it does work, and you will get, I think, 10% off if you sign up for 1 year. Highly recommend it if you're starting out and you're okay paying $8 a month, though the $16 a month option is priceless. Self-branding. Everybody here has some kind of website, more or less. If you don't have one for your name and who you are, you're really missing an opportunity. I have had 3 business cards handed to me so far by people who didn't look like they'd ever used a computer. Nobody gives me business cards anymore. They send me a tweet, they send me other information, they reach out to me online. Sites like About Me are great for this. Go to about.me/Ryan Opaz. DoID is one that I just found, and we're actually working on a corporate package structure with them to try to make it so that the whole company can register. What it is it's a personal landing page that pulls in content from all of your different life things online. It allows you to update with photo, give a little information. Think of it as a virtual business card. Oh, Pedro, did you? I was just wondering if you had something for me. I like this, I just found it. It's a little more expensive. About Me is free, but About Me was bought by AOL, so I don't know if it's being developed. There's been some problems. About Me is really simple, so you might want to start there. There's a few others that I'll mention later on. We're starting to see this new level of personal branding pages, which I really like. Glossy is one of the sexiest ones. Again, 5 seconds to be set up. You put up all your feeds to your photos, your Twitter, Facebook. It sucks it in. You can't really see it here, but down at the bottom, going down, you'll see latest posts I've done, where I've checked in recently, and then you have a lot of content. If you really are just a speaker or a personality and you don't want to be creating big content or managing a website, these are great sites. I mean, somebody like Willie Klinger would be great to have a site like this. About Me /Willie Klinger would be awesome, because you could just say, I'm Willie, this is what I do. He's not somebody who has the time to be doing all the other fiddly stuff, but you need that kind of, here's one place to find out that information. A new one, Rebel Mouse. They're about to launch custom domain names. It hasn't come out yet. Wow, we have a long ways to go. This is really, really sexy. I'm excited about this. Pay attention to it. These are my latest posts. These are people I follow. I can drag this by clicking on it to this spot. I can drag this down to here. I can move the stuff around. I can curate the content that automatically sucks in. So if you really want a sexy page and you want to manage it, this is a nice way to do it. It allows you to actually take, and instead of just doing a stream of all your social, which sometimes is messy, on the back end, up here there's a little login. You go into the backside, and it decides, that looked boring. I'm not going to publish it to the front page. And so it'll save all the content that I put up on Twitter as drafts, and then I can go in and say, oh no, publish that on the front page, because that actually is interesting. But the stuff like pictures and videos, it usually pushes to the front page because it knows it's good. Others will look for Zerply, Flavors Me, Twila. Each one has its own little characteristic. Some people like one over another. We'll move on. The bottom line is you need a web presence. If you don't have some kind of place you can direct me to online to find a way to connect to you, you're missing out. And it should be dead simple. It shouldn't be some complicated, navigate in, try to find me on some other page. Just set up. I mean, by the end of this talk, if you all really paid attention closely to me and also did a little typing, you could have an About Me page set up and your name on it, and we could all share that information. You would have a place online. First, though, you need a domain name. That's the key. Is the hostess? Can somebody get me some tea? Because the water dries me out and the tea makes my mouth. Thank you so much. I like having hostesses. They're great people. Thank you so much. Domain. How many people own their own domain? How many people own their name? You own SusanStagel.com? Awesome. How about yourself? Yeah? All right. Own your name. If you have a child, buy your child's name. That is going to be one of the most valuable things in the world in a few years. It is today. Own your name online. If you do not show up as the first 10 results in Google, properties you own, and there's somebody else owns them, that means somebody else is talking or developing your personality for you. You need to own it. The easiest way to own it is to go to hover.com. Do not use GoDaddy. GoDaddy will, I don't want to use the word, but they will molest you badly. They are evil. There are other solutions that are okay. Hover can't register all top-level domains, so some countries have their own proprietary registration. But Hover does one thing. It registers domain names. You register a domain name, you can get an email address too if you want, or you just register it. The customer service, better than anybody in the world, you call them at any time and they will help you with any problem. If you're on GoDaddy right now, they will transfer all your names to them for free, and you don't have to do any work. I don't get any money from these people at all, other than the fact that they are clean, simple, they function very, very well, and cheap.
Do they have a shopping cart solution?
No, this is just registering a domain name. This isn't hosting. You can't host your website here. All it is buying RyanOpaz.com. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful person. When you register, let's remember, keep it short and simple. As short as you can possibly make it. RyanOpaz.com works because that's my name. The shorter it is, the easier it is, the better it is. Go for the .com. .com is still rules. Things are changing. Be unique. If you have to spell something a little different, at least play with it. Number one thing for all of you who are probably trying to talk to different markets in different countries, take and ask people to pronounce your name in their language. If your primary market is France, but you're an American, find out all your French friends, say, what does this sound like to you? If you pronounce it with a French accent or a French pronunciation. People forget that, and you get really embarrassing things that come up. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but there's more than once I've seen something very simple turn into a very dirty word when pronounced by the primary audience. Spelling is less important than mnemonics, so play with mnemonics to make it memorable. Going big, if you are a big corporation, make sure you own all of the domains that you have. You don't want somebody else to set up shop on yours. .org, .net, .co.uk, those are big ones. And then you want your primary, .at or .ge for Georgia or something like that.
If you find out that someone else owns a brand, your domain name, for example, Asia, how do you find out what you should pay me? Or is that what he requests? Not what you should pay me?
What it's worth is, what it means to you. If you think you're losing traffic to it, that's definitely a problem, and then the price goes up. If you're not losing traffic to it, I ignore it. Catavino.net exists. Catavino.com is some Catalan guy who refuses to sell to us and just sits on it, and there's nothing there. And it's so silly. you can force his domain to become worthless. Catavino.net owns the web when it comes to Spanish wine online. We own most of the search results for those things. Catavino.com is worthless. If it doesn't show up, nothing can happen there. So when it comes to buying it though, I mean, domain names can go for a lot. They can go for a lot. You know, you make a good offer, you can go to something like Hover and call our customer service and say, do you have auction appraisal services? And just say, you know, what can I do? There's also a few sites, you have to Google it, I don't have one on my top of my head, that will camp out on a domain and just follow it. So I can say, notify me every time the registration period shows up for Catavino.com. And so I get emailed every 3 years, hoping the guy doesn't register it. And then if he doesn't, I can quickly swoop in and grab it.
What's that website? So when
You have to Google it and figure out. I don't have one on the top of my head, and we have another 80 slides to go through. So I can answer a little bit more of that later on. Don't care. There's a new top-level domain, .wine. Been doing some research on it. I personally think it's kind of a waste. You never know. If you are generic, you might want to buy it just because it's there. It's going to be privately held. It's not going to be held by ICANN, so a private organization will own it. What?
it was registered with IFTTT.
It's registered with ICANN. ICANN licensed it to a private individual to sell.
And then someone decided next year.
Yeah, they haven't decided on the person who won the auction yet. So that person will come along, and I don't know. I don't need Catavino.wine. Some people might. Austrian.wine would be kind of cool. So the problem with it is I don't feel like it's going to be the most reliant or reliable. It's a question if that private investor decides what will happen. Who knows? So what should it cost? This is web development here. Everybody always asks what's fair. Back in 1995, when nobody knew what they were doing, it was quite expensive to build a website. This is for a standard web page. I would say a standard website, multiple pages, maybe a small database, more than a blog, less than a huge shopping solution. That type of pricing. Today, $2,000 to $7,500. This is one source I found online what they're saying. It's not a perfect science. A blog or a website, if anybody quotes you at €1,000, they're probably giving you a good price. It's probably a fair price. It depends where you are. Obviously, some countries you can find a lot less. Other places it's going to be a lot more. But if it's a competent designer, you see their work, always go make sure you see a lot of examples of what they've done. $1,000, you're not a problem. 500 maybe. A website for a winery, 2,000 to 5,000, you're in a good ballpark. I have done sites more than that. I've done sites a lot less than that. But a winery website usually has multiple pages for their wines, has a contact form, has a blog, has some information about history, some videos, that type of stuff. Complex retail, you're putting in a shopping solution in that. I would go higher, because I've seen crappy shopping solutions. If you want shopping in there, make sure you're getting up into the 10,000 plus range or more. There's good free software, it's the design that's the problem. The technology it's not really the problem. The problem is user experience, how people navigate your site. Focus on that a lot more than the technology. Find a designer who can make it simple. You want the shortest step from, I like this, to, I bought this. And a lot of people put too many hurdles in the way. Simple identity page, if you wanted a custom about me, without using about me, 500 or less you could probably do. Graphics cost money, and they're worth investing in. I have some cool solutions for that. Custom layouts, graphics, they add a lot. If you do that, designers cost a lot. I think it's worth paying. Photos, I hate this so often. I'm a photographer. I love giving away free photos. I have no problem giving away free photos if you ask me. But please do not steal. Just because it's a pretty picture of your city does not mean you can put it on your website without thanking that person, asking that person. Oftentimes a photographer will be happy to, but always leave a little credit. Say, thank you, Ryan, for this photo you let me use. I'll probably promote you because of it. It's a nice little symbiotic relationship here. Moving on, email communications. How many people are using local email like Outlook on their machine? You have your email, right? How many people use only in the web, online? Yeah? Gmail, Hotmail? Yeah? All right, so we're all over the place. Gmail, online solutions, personally, Gmail and Outlook. The new Outlook.com is, woo, it's sexy. It's worth looking at if you need to find a new email solution. I still think Gmail is the strongest, what they offer and the customization that's possible. Twitter and Facebook are becoming solutions. Facebook sucks. Please, please, please do not use Facebook for your email solution. You don't own that content. It's very scary. Any communications that go through the Facebook Messenger thing, Facebook owns it. You do not own that. Don't do any business through that direct message service on Facebook. Twitter, I prefer for email oftentimes. A direct message on Twitter is just a wonderful way to say something simple. And so much clutter in my inbox of people just saying, hey Ryan, can you send me a photo? I mean, that's much less than 140 characters. I just need the photo. Just send me a Twitter direct message. Google Apps for your domain. Anybody here using this? Woo, we got a couple. Yay. This is the corporate solution. This is the small business solution. Free and premium. Free gives you everything you need and probably more. I run free on at least 5 domains. What it does is it gives you a full suite of apps. It allows you to manage users. It allows you to run your company like you have a huge server farm in your backyard or in your office. This will take and allow you full control. You can have big storage options for your business. All your emails run through there. Documents, user management. Cool features like this. In our business, we have a lot of interns who come work with us. So the intern comes in, we give them an email address, and they use it. And when they're done, all the emails in there are valuable to us, but we don't want that person to have it. So we can switch the email address on that account and switch it to the new name. So if it's Bob who's our intern this week, we just switch it to Mary, and they get all those emails in that history attached to their name. You have that type of level. It's very secure. If you go up to the $50 a year, which we have for our main business, you get excellent support, a lot of features. I can talk to you more about it later if you want to come up to me and we can chat. Newsletters. How many people are using a newsletter right now? Newsletter service. Yeah? Is it your own service or is it online? Online? Yeah, good. I assume some of you are on Mailchimp? No? Okay. Campaign Monitor? Mailchimp? Yes. Tiny Letter? Mailchimp is probably one of the best. Aweber is one of the biggest. These are just great ways to handle your customers. Campaign Monitor and Mailchimp, easy for sending messages. The problem with using your email address to run a newsletter is if you send bulk mail from one email address, most of it will not reach its intended recipients. What happens is, if you send out 1,000 emails from your email address, the web goes, spammer, about 5%, I think the number was 5 last time I checked, it might be 10% of those emails will reach the intended people. These types of services have contracts with the servers and the host domain, and they say, hey guys, we're safe, we checked all the people who registered, this isn't spam. So now they can send out 10,000 and you get a higher delivery rate. If you're not using that, and you're sending an email just through your email or newsletters through your email, you could be having a problem. Tiny Letter is super awesome because it's really lightweight. It does one thing, it just sends an email. Check Tiny Letter out if you have a small little mailing list you're doing. It's an excellent solution. There's so many of them, I'm only going to list. Every tool I list, there's probably 400 others, and probably at least 10 of them are awesome that I'm not mentioning of those 400. So yeah, I don't know iContact personally, but if it works for you, great. Yeah.
Can you just do 1 minute to explain it a little bit how it works, where the database comes from, how
You have an account. Yeah, it gives you a little form to put on your website so people can sign up. You can import your contacts. You have to prove that they're yours and you didn't buy them or something. But you import your contacts, then you set up your mailing list. What's really powerful, and I'm not going to have time to get into, is you send out an email to 1,000 people. You see the delivery rate. 100 people opened it. You can now send a second email to the 900 people that didn't. You get the delivery rate on that. Then you can send a follow-up for the people that didn't get it there. Plus, you can go back and set up another mailing list from any subset.
How much does it cost? Because we're using something similar.
Yeah.
Like
150 euros a month. How many people on your list?
5,000.
5,000. So we're doing a delivery rate of around 5 cents an email, 2 to 3 cents an email, I think. So Campaign Monitor pays per email. Mailchimp has solutions where you can pay more, but you want to pay per email. That's a good way to do it. Some of these you pay extra monthly, and then you pay an email fee, but you also get better support. So if it works for you and the price isn't overwhelming, I mean 5,000 is a nice size mailing list. But the biggest problem most people have is they'll keep 5,000, even though it's ineffective. You need to trim that, cull the herd, get it down to a manageable size. We got a lot to go through. Skype. Who uses Skype? Anybody here not using Skype? If you raise your hand, you're not using Skype? Use Skype. It's the easiest thing in the world. The most important thing I want to mention is Skype again. Chat before you call. Please. Skype is not a telephone. It has this chat window where you can type something in. Send me a chat message. Say, Ryan, are you free to talk? Because I'm usually in the middle of a meeting when somebody calls me who's never used Skype before, and my computer starts going, and I'm like, oh, geez, come on, people. Just send a chat message, then call me. If you're not using it, definitely use it. Google Talk has actually made big strides towards becoming a great solution. CRM. How many have a CRM system for their business? You gotta have it, a few of you. Customer relationship management. HubSpot, none of you are probably big enough for it. It's an industrial solution. We're talking hundreds of thousands of contacts, but if you are that big, it's an excellent solution. If you are not that big, Nimble, something we are going to start promoting a little bit more. We're going to work with them to develop some wine-specific tools. I have a link coming up I'll tell you about. Vintank, only for wineries really, excellent solution, great stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about it tomorrow in another session, so I can't really get into it now. But Nimble is an all-in-one inbox. On one page, you have your Twitter, your email, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, all this information coming to one location. You can filter it by what it is. You can respond to it from within that box. It's an amazing tool, especially for a small little winery who's afraid to manage all the different feeds. You can go there. If you sign up with this link, write down that link there, you'll get, it's like a free trial, 1 month, is it? 2 months? Extended. Yeah, so there's an extended trial. Just go to the link, they'll tell you. As I said, this is a platform that we'll be building upon. We're working on a couple solutions where we'll bring tools for the wine industry to this. More to be announced hopefully soon. It integrates with a cool service called Reportive. You can use Reportive by itself or with Nimble. What this does is inside my Gmail, I have this great little box that shows up when you email me. If I don't know you, I still know all of your online activity because it grabs your email address, goes around, finds everything. This is amazing because now I can pretend like I know all your names and what you look like. But every email I get has a little picture and I know who you are. Just most CRMs worth paying for. There's a lot of free solutions out there. I've tested a lot of the free ones, they all suck. It's worth paying most of the time. Nimble's what, 15 per user? $15 per user per month. Very affordable, very affordable. There's discounts obviously when you buy in bulk, 1 year or 2 years, those types of things, but it's a very good solution. Basecamp is another one. There's a lot of them out there, but if you're not paying and you're working on a CRM solution for your company, you probably are missing out. Social management. When I say social management, I'm talking about things like how to manage these. These are the places you need to be, at least the top 3. Google Plus and App.net are worth paying attention to. If you are a little geeky and you like the online world, I highly suggest Google Plus. The technology, photography, food culture, a lot of other cultures on Google Plus are very highly developed. The wine culture hasn't been developed very much, but I do like the platform a lot. App.net is a paid version of Twitter that I do believe is going to become a very interesting community very soon. Wow, we still have a ways to go. Hootsuite. Hootsuite handles Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, RSS feeds, all this. We have unique Hootsuite users, I know. Definitely worth paying for the paid option. You get more social things, you get some support. They have great seminars on how to manage stuff. TweetDeck is Hootsuite free, basically. Owned by Twitter. not as flexible, but if you're a single person with a couple accounts, it's a great solution. The others, Google them. There's a lot of them out there. Just Google them. If you don't like Twitter, or TweetDeck or Hootsuite, get out there and Google it. One of the places that will save you time and money, alternative to .NET. If you are using Outlook right now and you're sick of Outlook, you type in Outlook into alternative2.net and it gives you all sorts of alternatives to Outlook that have the same functionality and do something different. So anything I mentioned today that you go test and you're like, I don't like that, even About Me, you type in aboutme.com and it would give you all the other things that are like aboutme.com. Great tool for finding tools. Mobile. Android versus iPhone. Android users. Oh, Jesus Christ. iPhone users. That's easy to say, right? I'm an Android fanboy. I don't like the ecosystem on iPhone, iPad. I don't like being locked in and told how to use my devices. But they work, so whatever. In the end, there are two solutions. I'm not going to get into the debate about which is better. They're both great. They both can do a lot of stuff. If you have a desire to be more flexible, Android is definitely the way to go because you can do so much more if you have any of that geek blood in you or the desire to have it in you. WorldMate, though, is an application you can get on both of these devices, and if you travel as much as I travel and you do not use this, you are missing out. I forward everything from my travel agent or for whoever booked my flight to these guys, no matter how unreadable it is, which most of the stuff is when you get a travel thing and it says, the airport code and the times and you can't read it. You send it to WorldMate, it sucks in the data, it sends you alerts. I'm in airports, it will send me a text message and say, oh, your gate changed. It is unbelievable. Check it out, it's free. But
Will it find my luggage?
sometimes it'll find luggage, maybe, I don't know. But it does really cool stuff. It'll tell you if you're checked into a hotel and you need an extra night, and it'll be like, hey, if you want to switch hotels, there's a really good deal across the street. That type of cool stuff. Evernote, how many people use Evernote? Oh, not enough, we need to fix that. Hands down, the most useful tool I have. Record everything. Any photo I take of anything, if I were to take a photo of this and send it to my Evernote account, it would read it. I can search now for the text in the photo. This is how I take tasting notes. There's a little application called Evernote Food. That's absolutely wonderful. Evernote Food is an additional thing to Evernote. What it's based on is for restaurants. I use it for tastings.
How do you use it for white notes and for testing and so on? Evernote.
Evernote? Well, I mean, the easiest way is...
I ever for not to mirrors and but I don't know how I can.
Evernote works, it sets up a series of notebooks. In those notebooks, you put your notes. I have a wine notebook. And so when I'm at a tasting, I take pictures of the bottles and I type in my notes, or I speak them, and it pulls the text out. That all becomes searchable. So you can do it any way you want. That's the coolest part about it. So if I'm sitting here recording this whole seminar, I can type in the word seminar and find it throughout my speech. It's amazingly powerful. Evernote Food, though, was based on the idea that you go to a restaurant, you sit down, you take pictures of the meal, you want to check in for Foursquare, you want to know where the restaurant was, and you want to leave some notes. So I started using it at restaurants, and I realized I don't actually care about the restaurants, but then I did it at wine tasting, and it was brilliant, because I could check into where I was with the wine tasting, I could take pictures of the bottles, and I could put in all my notes. Check it out. I think you'll like it. WhatsApp, are we using WhatsApp? Some security problems with it. I hope they're fixing them. Very good, free text messenger as long as you're connected to the internet. It's a great solution. Other solutions for wine notes and things, Corkbin, Vivino, HelloVino, Springpad. Springpad is really cool for organizations. Evernote has a social option. It's kind of clunky, it doesn't work very good. Springpad, you could curate a lot of content. So you could curate content about Austria on Springpad and use it as your notebook that you share with the world. And it allows you to share that information in unique ways. Just go there, look at it, you'll see what I mean. Randomness. Photoshop users. Two great solutions. Avery and the GIMP. Aviary, they have all these free online tools for editing photo, video, vector, illustrations, free. There are paid options, but if you just need to take a photo and crop something out or change a little something here or there, go to Aviary. It's free. You don't have to pay $700 or whatever it is for Photoshop, and most of you are not going to even use 1% of the tools in Photoshop, so it's not worth it. If you need a bit more flexibility, the GIMP, free open source version of Photoshop, does, I would say, 100% of what I know and need to do. Controls are a little different, so it takes some time to learn, but it is incredibly powerful and you can do a lot with it. Evernote, again, said it, great for doing stuff. How many writers do we have here? People who are publishing books? Anybody want to do a book? Yeah? Good. Here's your tool, Scribner. This is storyboarding at its best. Scribner, it's now on Word. We got somebody here using it. I'm not a book writer. You use it too. Good. Yeah, it's hands down one of the coolest things if you are going to do any storyboarding. I believe Scribner would be good for event management. We have a different solution. But because most events are like stories, the way you have to follow all these different themes, it's a tool. Check it out. It's a wonderful tool. Mustache taught me the word Luthen. We read Turkish here? Yeah, we do. I learned how to say please in Turkish because of this. It is awesome deal. You go to Mustache, you say click a memo, and you put in what you need to remember, and it sends you emails every day for however many days you need to remember it. It's great. So if you're going to be going to wherever and you need to learn a word, or you need to remember some event and you know you're going to forget it, totally, every day I did this thing, it's a Luthen, and I was like, oh, cool. You know, so that's the one word I got down. Jump share. Who uses You Send It? You go away. I hate that. The service sucks. They charge you too much. It doesn't work very well. These are two of the best. Jump Share and GE.TT. Please, if you have anything to share with me, use one of these two. Both of them work great. This, you can sign up for an account and have more permanent solutions, but your files stay on there for 2 weeks, 200 file types, you drag literally from your desktop to the screen, and you can share. I prefer Get, does the same thing, but when you sign up, let's see if it has the pricing, yeah. You get like almost a gigabyte or something right away, but actually I think you get a gigabyte anyways, but the file's temporary. If you sign up and pay a little bit, you have, your files are always on there. But literally I can take and get people who know nothing about the internet. You just drag a file, drop it, and then it gives you a link that pops up, and you copy that link and you send the link. And now, as it's uploading, I can be downloading it. So if it's like a 5 gigabyte file, you can drag and drop it there, send me the link, and it's taking an hour there, and it'll start downloading on my machine as it's uploading on yours.
Any difference from Dropbox?
Dropbox, the only problem is, if somebody doesn't have an account, you get the public links, and those work, but they're a little more chunky. This literally is a link that sends you and says, push this button. So it's for the people who don't understand anything about the web. And there's a lot of those people. I did it with, again, a couple speakers who didn't know what they were doing with their PowerPoints. I just said, go to this window, drag it onto the window, and boom. And they're like, wow, that was easy. I say, yeah, that's why we do it. We're not going to go that deep. FTP is how you file transfer protocol. That's how you upload big things. That's, yeah. This is using a form of FTP. That's some of the technology in it. But yeah, that's something. Yeah. Fiverr.com. Anybody ever use Fiverr? Oh, this one's my favorite. Everyone got $5. You can get so many cool things. You can get songs. You can get logos. You can get grandma's beating up French fries. There's a story behind this. The other day I got a call. My grandma's like 900 years old. I absolutely love her to death, a little short Mexican woman. And I find out she's in the hospital and about to die. And we're all like freaking out. And we find out she had some spicy French fries that probably had too much salt and caused her some cardiac arrest or something. She's fine, she lives, she's okay, I love her, she's wonderful. But I immediately started laughing that my grandma beat the spicy French fry. So I went to Fiverr.com, I found an illustrator for $5. I gave him $5 and said, I need a picture of my grandma beating up some French fries. So he drew me a picture. If you need a logo, if you need a song, if you want something silly, check out Fiverr.com. For $5, you can get a lot of cool things. And if you're doing a little firewall event, just something fun, and you need a one-off logo or a one-off, like a podcast song or a ditty or whatever, video edited, there's people all over the world who can do these things fast enough that it pays off to do enough of them for $5 that you get some cool services. IFTTT. If, then, this, that. Who uses this? Good, I got some good ones nobody knows about. If, then, this, that is one of the simplest and easiest tools out there. It has what it calls recipes. You create recipes that do things. I have a recipe here. Every time I start an email in Gmail, it sends it automatically to Evernote. I have one here. Every time, a new album to Amazon's top free MP3 albums, I get an email. And the last one I have a whole bunch more, but start by Google Reader, reading my RSS feeds. If I start something, it makes a new note. Tons of different services in if, then, this, that. You take a service like Evernote, and you put it with something like Twitter. So every time I tweet, it goes to Evernote, and I start a note with all my tweets. So now I have archived tweets, which Twitter doesn't let me archive. This has a ton of solutions. It's made for people who know nothing about programming, and it creates complex programs in very simple language. It literally says, what do you want to do? If blank happens, then I hope this happens. Excellent tool. Check it out. I think you're going to fall in love. We all know what RSS is? No. RSS is what makes the world go round. Really simple syndication. If you have a blog, you're using RSS. Every time you post a blog post, it goes out to the web, and the whole web hears about it. RSS readers are the places where you go to read all the content that's being sent out via RSS. Google Reader is the number one. It's basically a subscribe button. You click that, you put a link to your favorite website. If it has an RSS feed, it shows up in the sidebar here, and then you can read the content there. If you have a company that's tracking a lot of keywords, you can go to Google Alerts, put a Google Alert in for Ryan Opaz. At the bottom of the results, it says, do you want the RSS feed? You grab that RSS feed, you put it in here, you create a folder called All About Me, and you have all of those Google Alerts showing up in one place. In seconds, you can quickly go through it, and see if there's anything good that came in today. Feed my inbox for you people who do like to clutter their inbox. You can also subscribe to RSS feeds in your inbox. I don't need any more emails, so that's not for me. But it might be for you. Buffer app. Anybody use it? All right, we got one person. This changed my life. I've said that probably 5 times. I'll say it 5 more. Yeah. I like to share stuff that I find online. The problem is if you share too much, too fast, people get annoyed. Buffer app allows you to enter accounts. I have Facebook, app.net, LinkedIn, Twitter, and then a bunch of others. And when I find something that I want to share, I put it in this box, and I hit the button not to suggest a post. I don't have it, but it'll say, buffer this. What it does is then it sends it out at intervals. So in my settings, I've set it so every hour on the hour, it sends a new post. So I can fill up my inbox with all these posts. In the free version, you get like 10, I think. You can pay X a month, and you have unlimited. And so, if you're a company and you have to keep a Twitter feed active, what you do is when you get into the office in the morning, you go to your RSS reader, you set up IFTTT so that every story you star gets sent to buffer, and then throughout the day, your Twitter feed has new content going up every hour on the hour, and you only did 5 minutes worth of work by clicking star on the best articles. It's absolute magic.
What's the difference with programming in Hootsuite?
Hootsuite auto schedule is just a little more complicated. They do work together. And Hootsuite, if you have the premium and you like their auto schedule functionality, and Hootsuite's, that's, if you have a social media manager, I would probably do it that way. But for somebody like me who has to do it himself, or somebody who doesn't have the resources to have somebody dedicated to it, I like Buffer app. It works. There's a lot of different solutions. It's all explained online. Again, I'm not going to explain it all. One of our sponsors, Bundler, I love them. They create bundles of information. If you go to our Veration page, which I don't know if I have a link here, but bundler.com, you create bundles of content. Here is our digital wine community. Oh wait, that's a Benfire, sorry. But we created some bundles about Izmir, about Turkey, about these things. Basically, just brings all the content together, makes it easy to read. It's a curated page of content for a specific purpose. That's very confusing. Yeah, here's the bundler slide. Okay, so my slides are backwards. This would be the sites and sounds of Turkey. If you click on these, you can read some of them, watch the videos, share. I can embed this in my own web page, so it's a nice little solution to create a nice, site. Eventifier, we're also using. Please check out. God, this is all backwards. Eventifier. We have. If you're going to be doing events, check out these guys. It's a startup from somewhere in Asia. They will take, and this I did at the beginning of the conference, so we didn't have much, but anything that comes in with the hashtag gets archived here. We can put up slide presentations. It allows us to see all the contributors who put tweets and stuff. It also allows us, any of these that we see that aren't related to our event, we can manage and say, eliminate that, or block that user. So if you're doing an event, it's a great tool for curating your content. It's absolutely indispensable. I love it. Here's another look. I didn't put the URL up there, but nope, it's not there. Well, I'll get you the URL. It's actually it's in the participant packet. That's where you can get it. It's in the catalog. Foursquare, yes, we're using it. Foursquare became a lot more interesting once IFTTT work came along, because now when I check into stuff, it puts where I was on my calendar, Google Calendar. So I know where I've been. Business trips, expense reports, this is wonderful. Because immediately I can check in and say exactly where I was, what I did. I can put notes if I had a receipt I need to remember. IFTTT sends it to my calendar. My calendar syncs all that information along with the tweets. So now on my calendar, in Google Calendar, I have where I was, what I spent, what I said, what I ate, all in one location. And so if I go back to Austria, I can say in my Google Calendar, Austria, it brings up the last 2 times I was in Austria, where I ate, oh, that was a great restaurant. All of that stuff, I didn't even have to think. Dropbox.
Do you ever use Bing?
Bing versus Google? Yeah, Bing is great. They've gotten a lot better. Google's ubiquitous. The Bing online services for email and stuff, they're not as robust as Google Apps. So we use Google Apps, so there's no reason for us. But Bing's great for image search. They're almost better than Google. But yeah, it's a viable solution. And I don't really have a big preference. Dropbox mentioned, if you're not using it, I think you're ridiculous. Google Drive is going to be, it's cheaper. They had a little bit of problem the way they built it in the beginning, but they're getting a lot better, a lot more user-friendly. I've already mentioned IFTTT, but I did want to reinforce it because if you don't check it out, at least for a couple small tasks, I think you're going to be missing out a lot. In the end, I could have put 200 more slides, but I don't have any more time. We haven't, I made it under, we still have 4 minutes. I don't have a lot of time, so I put for hire with kind of like little quotes, air quotes. But if you want to do some, one-on-one consulting over Skype for your business on just a simple way to set stuff up, I have time to do simple website setup if you just want to get a blog online really quick and you feel comfortable having somebody else do it. Feel free to give me a call or just ask me a question in the hallway and we can go from there.